Hello everyone and a very warm welcome back to Formula Fun Sim Racing, and we are here for round 16 at the Italian Grand Prix at Monza as we're ready to get started in qualifying. It was a great racing round at the Dutch Grand Prix last time out, and we get started for another one as we're in qualifying already with cars out on track. We've got 5 drivers here tonight for us racing. It's of course to get started with Fly Scott, followed by High B, then the 3 of Scrubbins, Footy and Zen Zoku that complete our 5-car grid. As we just before we get started, and we see drivers starting with their flying laps, let's have a look at the drivers standings. Zenzoku still holding the lead strong and almost over 100 points. Still far away from 100, but not far away from completing it either. 331 points to Zenzoku, 14 podiums, 4 pole positions, and 5 fastest lap points to their name in total. Then Scrubbins in P2 with 263 points. Then comes Fly Scott with 217. His return to good positions in the last few races. Then comes IB in 4th place with 170 points to their name. Then it's Footy with 95 points, and Spliff completes rounds off the grid with 60 points to his name, and the only driver who hasn't finished on the podium this season just yet. And we just have drivers out on track. So High B was last year's winner here around Monza. How good can he do around here? He's just getting started in qualifying. Of course, it's 9 minutes of qualifying, and then we move on to racing laps as we're just trying to find out who's the driver and who's the most near to that finish line, and it's gonna be Fly Scott, the very first one to be out on track. There's AI cars, of course, so they'll be setting their times first, but it's gonna be Fly Scott. It's gonna be giving us the thing to look at, really, the benchmark time for these drivers to be 1:23.4, 1:23.3, but that is a pretty slow time in my opinion. By the time we see these guys come over the line, it's gonna be very different. As we're just waiting now, Fly Scott to make his way around the Parabolica now. Over that line, there's going to be a lap time set by Fly Scott over that finish line. How fast is that one? 1:23.6. That is interesting. I would have thought the Fly Scott was going to go faster than the AI. I mean, while Scrubbins slowing down, so maybe he's letting other cars right behind through, as Footy's through now with High B up ahead of Footy, trying to make his way around Parabolic and complete this flying lap over that line. How quick is that going to be? 1:24.5. Are we going to see Footy come over the line as well? 1:26.2, and now just Zen is the one who's going to be on a flying lap, and how quick can he go? Because others have not really been that fast, but over that finish line, 1:21.2. That is indeed a very competitive time. And that is going to be pole for Zenzoku so far. But for how long is that going to be the case, though? Because Scrubbins has just started his flying lap as well. Because if not anybody else, Scrubbins is going to be in the challenge. And Scrubbins is going to be really giving the check to Zen for so far. But we'll find out just in a few moments, as we're now going to be finding out Scrubbins go over the line. 1:27.2 in the first sector. That is interesting because 33 and 7 seconds down on his sector. That means he might have almost done 26 then, because 27.2. But it's going to be interesting because we're going to find out how many laps these drivers can do on these tyres. On top of that, if they can find any improvements or not. But Scrubbins is going to be there to really give all the challenge, and a interesting feat to Zen's time without a doubt, as he's just making his way around the final chicane and the final straight before the Parabolica and around the final corner. Scrubbins is going to be just coming around the final corner now. Is he going to be any closer to the pole position time? Over that finish line he goes, P2. He will be, but almost a second down still. 1:22.3. That is a very good time from Zen there. 1:21.2. I think usually these times are decent in terms of, you know, around Monza being 1:22, 1:23, but Zen is pretty fast at this point, followed by Scrubbins, who's currently in P2, 1:22.3. So should at least expect him on the final run to go 1:22.0, but others to improve as well, because these guys are even slower than the AI about the bottom three at this point, because Fly Scott, High B and Footy haven't really had the best of laps so far. Maybe his first laps, you know, trying to warm their tyres up, trying to get ready with things. So they're just trying to take it slow and steady, but for how long is that going to be the case? We'll find out. Where is High B going to be on a flying lap, and a lap that is going to see him improve on his previous time. Currently his second slowest time, 1:24.2, as he got the time to be around the parabolic, and now over that finish line. He sure should be finding an improvement. Does find an improvement over 3.8 but doesn't improve by position at all. Meanwhile, Zen is right behind. Footy's going to be coming into the pit lane. Are we going to see Zen go over the line or come into the pit lane? He's going to go over the line and try and find more improvement, and he will indeed find even more improvement over almost 6 tenths, 5.8 tenths to his name, 1:20.6. Meanwhile, Fly Scott has went second fastest ahead of Scrubbins there. You know, we were focused on Zen's lap. Fly Scott's went second fastest, and I was definitely saying that these guys are going to be finding a lot of time on their final lap. They indeed are. They're not even on their final laps, because everybody's still on the tires that they came out on. So they're yet to go into the pit lane and come out on a set of brand new soft compound tires. That's going to be even putting them more faster. But Scrubbins currently 1:22.3, but 1:22.2 from Fly Scott. They're still over 1 second down on pole sitter Zen, but so far at least the top three in the championship have managed to be there and make their statement for the moment. But in fact, we should be coming to an end of qualifying now, because we only got 9 minutes remaining. And remember, 9 minutes have already passed, and 9 minutes is the time that we have for qualifying. So here, of course, and yep, Scrubbins has retired, and that means that's going to be a maximum of P3 just outside the front row. And Zenzoku is going to take his 5th pole of the year and a pole position to his name. And that is going to be your qualifying results, ladies and gentlemen. Zenzoku takes pole position ahead of Fly Scott by over 1.5 seconds. That is a long time. Then 1.6 seconds behind is Scrubbins with a time of 1:22.3. Then in the bottom two, it is IB and Footy. Both of them, Footy 1:26.2, relatively slower time than compared to High B. High B could not complete his final flying lap, which he seemed to be improving on. But that's going to be the end of qualifying, as now we should be getting started for the Italian Grand Prix very soon. As we're getting 5 lights out and we go racing here at the Italian Grand Prix. Was a very feisty start, as we're getting Zen start from pole position, already going nicely for him so far. What about Scrubbins in P2? He's already jumped Fly Scott, but Zen's going to lock up. And he might make contact with Scrubbins there. They're going to be through now at the start, but what a start there for Zen. He's kept up his lead so far. Meanwhile, at the back, High B is trying to move forward and just got ahead of one of the AI cars. But Fly Scott for a moment thought looked like to be losing positions to Scrubbins, but he just came back. Oh, he's going to go wide. Fly Scott's going to go super wide on the eggs of the chicane there, and now into the Lesmos they go. They're going to be making their way from the first Lesmo now to the second Lesmo there, as they're going to be through and safely all okay. Meanwhile, now we see a lot of soft tire starters as well. That is a interesting thing, as we're about to find out whether who's going to be very quick. Has Zen been able to keep his lead? For the moment he has been, and he started on the medium tire. We've seen him do that all season, but now that's going to be Scrubbins right behind the back of Zenzoku there. Is he going to be making an overtake anytime soon, or going into the final corner? Not at the moment, at least. And remember that DRS is very powerful as well, but he will not then need that DRS around here before they could even make it to the end of that first lap. Scrubbins is going to be through and ahead of Zen Zoku, taking the lead of the Italian Grand Prix, but Zen's going to come back at him as well. Is Scrubbins going to be able to defend his inside line? No, in fact he will be, just enough. And going to lock up into turn 1, but not get able to get through on Scrubbins for the moment.
Why am I not losing battery? I'm on hot lap right now. It's not losing any battery.
He's probably not going to see any difference.
Nope, he's pulling away. He's way faster than I am. That sucks. Cool.
And Footy, the only driver starting on the soft compound tire, everybody else, Zen, Footy, Zen, High B and Fly Scott have all started on a set of medium compound tires, so going a medium soft strategy, which is going to be more vital towards the end of the race. But I think if Scrubbins has to make anything out of this race, he has to really push all the way through.
I've seen that happen to me before.
This game is unbelievable.
Meanwhile, there's going to be a yellow flag for T going ghosted. Maybe could have just made a mistake into the Lesmos there, because that is a very common place for the drivers to really go into the gravel. Let me tell you that from the experience, because you're driving fast, you're pushing every lap, every now and every time you go around there, you're trying to get ahead of the car out, or at least trying to defend your position. So sometimes you make it or break it.
It's not using battery. This is the weirdest thing ever.
Meanwhile, Scrubbins getting another fastest lap. I think, of course, he's going to be getting those as long as he has that soft compound tire. And for a moment there, Zen being pretty careful, because we could have thought that he was going to be going for it. But I think he kind of knows it. He knows that, you know, if he's got very good speed, Scrubbins anyways was over 1.6 seconds down in qualifying. So even if Zen doesn't push on these medium tires for the moment, but for the final part of the race, for the final runs in this race on a set of soft compound tire, that's going to be very vital and very crucial in terms of moving forward. Have a chance. We know it's going to be another DRS zone, and one more time Zen's going to be opening his rear wing. Meanwhile, Fly Scott's got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings of corner cutting. Is there going to be a chance for Zen to go through on the inside line? No, he won't be having that chance to go on the inside line. A possible move coming forward on this straight, but this time around there is no DRS. He's going to be using his battery. Scrubbins will be to defend, and Zen will be using his battery to really have a chance at an overtake. And definitely he's trying. It doesn't mean that he is not trying so far, but for how long does he try that? Lap 3 out of 13, and a pit stop should be around lap 6 or 7, I'd say, for the soft compound tire runners. Meanwhile, only 4 tenths separating the two, and a move that could not happen from the last 2 laps. Will it happen this time around? Is he going to send it on the inside line? No, he's just not close enough, and will not be taking the risk of moving forward. Meanwhile, Scrubbins going to go a little bit wide, maybe, or try and defend the outside line there. Not quite sure what happened, but he was just trying to get a better exit than Zen would. But this still going to be side by side, and coming into the first chicane, there could be a chance for Zen coming up, and there's going to be a chance for Zen. Is going to go on the inside line and just get ahead of Scrubbins there and take his lead back on lap 4, but Scrubbins might just try and come back at him into the Lesbos. They go. That was very close. Once more, Scrubbins for a moment could have thought that he's going to be through, but no. But he might be through this time around, because he's not even 2 tenths behind him, and he's going to be already through just as soon as he gets the DRS, as we get the camera switch back. But we're going to be back to the action at the moment. So these two are still fighting. The fight is looking pretty good. Meanwhile, looking at others, High B's trying to go for and get ahead of one of the AI cars as well, with the help of a set of DRS as well. He needs that because he surely wants that. And now High B still going side by side on the inside line. In fact, AI's going to go very late on the brakes. He's going to make contact with the car around the outside, but still make his way and into third place. It's going to be High B moving forward, even on that medium tire, doing the job that others can't at the moment, and getting himself into the top 3. Oh, the AI's going to come back at him. The AI, with the help of that DRS, might come back at High B, but High B's going to go down the inside line and send it to be making and going forward once more. Meanwhile, one more time, Zen's going to be having a chance. Is he going to go on the inside line, same place that he made a move earlier? He will not be doing that, but the DRS, the second DRS zone around here, could be very vital, and a possible move chance for all the drivers. Meanwhile, Fly Scott 4.5 seconds to the car behind, to the car ahead. Car ahead, and Footy now gets a 3-second time penalty as well. He's far down as well. A lot of Fly Scott's going over the curve there for a moment. We could have thought there's going over the sausage curve at the moment, but looking at this so far, Zenzo Cuse over 310s. These are going to be going for back and forth, and it'll rather depend on how good can Scrubbins do on the later stages, because later on in this race, Scrubbins going to be on that medium tire, and Zen's going to be on that on that soft compound tire. So being on the soft towards the end of the race might be pretty vital. So I will find out how that happens, but before even we can do that, the pit window for the soft compound tire is already on. That's definitely pushing a lot, trying to defend and get ahead of Zen. His tires must have been gone. Scrubbins going to be into the pit lane and switch on to the set of a set of a medium compound tire. As everybody's going to go through Fly Scott and IB as well, just getting ahead of Scrubbins at the moment. Scrubbins just going to come out ahead of Footy, but Footy is into the pit lane as well. He's going to go and get new boots on his car as well for a set of soft compound tires. And now Zen leads by over 13 seconds. I don't think he'd be pitting on this lap, possibly on the next lap or the lap after. So because definitely he doesn't want to be doing too many laps on the soft compound tire, because even if he pits on the next lap, he'll still have to be doing over 6 laps on those soft compound tires. But these guys haven't done it because Scrubbins has done max 4 or 5 laps on these soft compound tires. So possibly assuming that Zen would pit on after the next lap on lap 8 out of 13 to have himself chance to have the best chance of a soft compound tire. Because at the moment, looking at this one, Scrubbins might be struck in some traffic. He indeed is. He's just behind Fly Scott, though. That is pretty cool. Only 1.9 seconds behind Fly Scott. Fly Scott not really looking that fast. High B has indeed came into the pit lane. Then I wonder if he's going to go on a set of softs or on a set of hard compound tires here, because that we're about to find out. He indeed will go on to a set of hard tires. That indeed is. I mean, pretty much it's the case. You have to stay out longer if you want the medium soft strategy to work out, as now only 1.3 seconds separating Fly Scott and Scrubbins at the moment. Is how long is that going to be before Scrubbins comes and gets ahead of Fly Scott, or Fly Scott is going to come into the pit lane before he's even attacked by Scrubbins? But the gap is within 1 second, and on that possible second DRS zone, a chance is going to be on the way for Scrubbins to get ahead, and no chance for Fly Scott to really defend, because now they're separated by less than half a second, and there should be a move coming up in no time. And already, Fly Scott's going to go defensive on the inside line before the DRS was even activated. And now with the extra speed, Scrubbins going to be through in a second place and move forward. Meanwhile, there's a proper chance for Zen to pit right now, because 23.2 seconds is the gap between the two. But no, definitely Scrubbins being stuck in traffic has helped Zen so far, and really helped him gain even more time. But this is going to be a vital lap, because assuming he's going to be pitting at the end of this lap, this should be really interesting outlap from Zen so far, because it's not going to be the outlap, it's going to be the in lap from Zen at this moment. Lap 8 out of 13. We're going to be seeing him come into the pit lane for a set of soft tyres to the end of this race, unless he wants to go bold and go on set up hards. But I think he's really done enough laps at this point to make the soft compound last to the end of this race. Looking at things, 2.8 seconds already Scrubbins has gained on Fly Scott, but he hasn't gained much on Zen. Is Zen going to come out or come into the pit lane, or is he going to stay out and one more lap? He will not be doing that. So at the moment, Scrubbins has made his way around the final chicane, and it's going to be interesting to see where does Zen come out on the circuit, or just stays out ahead, because at the moment, he's just making his way around the Parabolica. Zen's going to go on a set of soft compound tires. He's just coming out on the exit of the pit lane. Scrubbins is just making his way. Just made his way around the pit wall. It's going to be very close. Is Scrubbins going to be able to get through? No, I don't think so. But He's going to be very close now, but the tire deficit is going to be on Zen's way at this point because he's now going to be on new soft compound tires as compared to Scrubbin's 3-lap-old medium compound tires. This is about to be interesting to the end of this race. We are about to find out something that we might not have earlier on. That is going to be interesting now. They're just making their way around Della Roggia now because, the Lesmo chicane. They just made their way around the Della Roggia chicane earlier on, and now onto the straight, onto Saragillo straight. They are with the help of that DRS to Scrubbins into the Ascari chicane. It's not going to be enough for him to really be there, and just after turn 8, 9 and 10 in, before turn 11, could there be a chance for Scrubbins to be through because he's going to be getting that DRS around the main straight now. He's got about 4 laps at the end of this lap on these medium compound tires, but they should be good. These 4 laps are not going to do much to the medium compound tire as much as they would do to a soft compound tire. So towards the end, I mean, if Scrubbins has to make a move, he has to do it just right now because otherwise there's not going to be a lot he can do towards the later stages, because his tires are going to be running out of grip, but his tires as well, because he's already done 4 laps and now he's got 4 more to go. At this point, High B currently in P3, beaten 20 seconds behind the top 2, but still doing a good job. And Flyscott in P5 with Footy currently in P10 in the final positions of this race. So 3 seconds time penalties for Footy and Flyscott each because of going wide on track, of course. That track limit penalties that happen around in 1.6 seconds. There's a yellow flag at the back, but that should be one of the AIs, and that might have crashed at this point because it seems to be the case that, but 1.8 seconds already, not quite sure whether, Scrubbins now got a 3-second time penalty. That might not affect his second place, but if there was any chance for him to move forward into the race lead or take that lead from Sir Zen, is not going to be there anymore, because even if he does finish ahead of him, he will not have enough speed and time and laps to really get a beat through and gain those 3 seconds ahead of Zen. And now Zen already getting that fastest lap, 1:21.9, definitely was going to mean that there's not any chance for Scrubbins to be through on Zen now, because 2.4 seconds pretty much is going to be sealing the deal for Zen at this point. 2.3 seconds, and already Scrubbins on the exit of that first chicane, struggling a little bit. So definitely now not really finding it easy at all, because it's not easy at all. And into the Della Roggia chicane, you have to be very careful around here, because if you take the sausage curbs, they could give you a lot of underbody damage, to say the least. And if that happens, especially around here, getting away from that underbody damage is not easy around Monza, because into the first chicane, you have the sausage curbs. Into the Della Roggia chicane, you have the sausage curbs as well. I don't think if you have any sausage curbs into the Ascari chicane, but let's find that out as we're going to go into where the Zenzo. No, there aren't. There are, but they're not closed. They're not the, they're placed in a different way. So still, you can still go a little bit wide to really help yourself, use the most track. Usually sausage curbs are placed to help drivers, prevent drivers from really doing anything that would help them gain advantages, but around Monza it's pretty different. And now Scrubbins getting those fastest laps. The gap, which was over 2 seconds, is only 1.5 seconds now. Are we really in here for something towards the end of the race? Oh, he's going to have a slide. He's really going to have a slide on the exit. And this time, I think that pretty much is going to be it for Scrubbins. He could have thought for it, because he took the fastest lap and got fastest point in the gap. Almost went back to less than a second for a moment there. But again, that little mistake is going to prevent him having any chance or really that race lead, and that pretty much might be it for him, as Zen's now only got 1 more lap on those soft compound tires to do, and with only having done 3 laps, and at the end of it, with a total of 5 laps to do for him on these soft tires, they should be in pretty good shape as compared to the medium tires that are going to be having done 8 laps to the end, come the end of this race. And we're going to see Zen just make his way around the Parabolica now. Zen Zoku is going to add this one to his list of victories once more.
All right.
It's going to come home around the line to win the Italian Grand Prix, as Scrubbins is going to finish second to Zen one more time.
That was a nice drive.
And with High B just making his way around the final straight before the Parabolica, he's just got that quarter to go because he's going to be moving forward, and another podium coming up for him. He's been pretty consistent, and that should be adding to his tally of podiums. Once more, doing a very good job with Fly Scott in P5. With that penalty, I don't think that's going to be affecting with 3 seconds to his name, as Footy's far a little bit behind with that on that Ascari chicane so far. Hybe's going to complete his 4th podium of the season. Flyscott's been consistent. I mean, he's got 11 podiums, only one less after this race, 2 less than Scrubbins. But the last 2 races, I mean, he maybe not so good because kept making mistakes at the Dutch GP as well, and hasn't quite found it easy. As now, Footy is going to be the final car over the line and finish this race here at Monza. But the result is going to be no different, as Zen Zoku, one more time, is going to come around in first place and extend his race lead, his championship lead, even further. There, as Zen's going to be on that top step in that blue suit, with the trophy in his hand and doing all the celebrations required. But that is going to be the end of this race here at the Italian Grand Prix. Zen Zoku wins by over 6.9 seconds ahead of Scrubbins, who's going to come in second place, and with that fastest lap to his name as well. High B is going to finish on the podium for the fourth time this season, and 2 times in a row from Zandvoort to here. Fly Scott trying to regain the form which he might have lost over the break, as he currently finishes in 5th place at Monza. Then Footy, last car to final car on the grid to finish this race, still finishes in P8. That's going to be the marking of the action here. It was myself, Zabi. Hope you all watching really enjoy the action here with all of us from Formula Fun Sim Racing. We're going to catch you up next time in Baku.